Satisfy your need for happiness through your own curiosity with the Ranveer Show. What is a filler exactly? क्या होता है?
So at this point, I'll tell you the difference between filler and Botox.
Sure.
Okay. So Botox is nothing but a protein when injected into the muscle will ease the muscle, and therefore the line that is formed because of muscle contraction reduces.
So the wrinkle.
Correct. So I'll tell you an example. You smile, these lines form. You frown, which I can't, like I said, I'm Botoxed. You frown, these lines form, right? In the human body, muscles of the body are attached to the bone. Therefore, all the actions happen when the muscle contracts, right? So it contracts to make this happen. Now, that is how the bone works. The muscles on the body work. While muscles on the face are attached to the skin. So each time I contract to make an expression, the muscle contracts and so the skin contracts with it. Repeated movement of that muscle is what is making the lines etch to become so-called wrinkle. So each time you smile, there is a muscle around your eye, which is orbicularis oris, which is the purse string kind of muscle. It's a round muscle, round, it goes, the fibers like this. So whenever I close my eyes or smile, all these lines will keep forming. Eventually it will etch because the skin along with it is coming. Correct? And I'm doing this. There's a frontalis muscle attached to the skin. I keep doing this. It'll keep pulling that skin with it and these lines will start forming. That is how lines are formed. Okay? That's one kind of line which forms with muscle contraction because muscle is attached to the skin. That I can ease with a Botox.
Ease means?
Means when I inject Botox into that muscle at various points. Now again, that is complex because I need to know the depth of the muscle, bulk of the muscle, extent of the muscle, all of this, any interdigitation of that muscle with another muscle, all this I need to know. And I inject precisely, and that is different in different people again.
This is where Botox can go wrong as well.
Correct. So then I end up deciding how much, where, how many pokes is what I have decided in my head and I put it on your face. How is this now working? When you want to frown, you're angry or you're irritated or you're concentrating. Who told your muscle that you're doing all this? Obviously your brain, correct? And who communicated from the brain to the muscle? The nerve. What in the nerve is actually telling it? Is it tapping you? No, it is not. It is releasing a chemical called acetylcholine. Now that acetylcholine released by the nerve on the instruction by the brain has to touch a receptor in your muscle for the muscle to react and say, chung, I'm contracting because this fellow told me to contract. What is Botox doing? It is interfering there and it with the receptor. So now the acetylcholine, so that's why when people say, oh, will it damage my nerve? Will I get paralyzed? No, it won't because it's doing nothing to the nerve. What it is doing is actually making that receptor interference where now acetylcholine will pour there on the receptor and it will say, what do I want? What do you want me to do?
For any function to happen in a body, a chemical has to combine with a receptor for that function to happen.
For example, any function.
So here the Botox is instead going and blocking those receptors.
Correct.
And then that acetylcholine...
So now acetylcholine is telling what? This fellow is not understanding, right? So the muscle is not contracting. Eventually Botox will wear off. How? New receptors are formed around the same places. That is the magic of our body. It will recover. New receptors are formed and say, okay, get lost. I'm forming another receptor. Now I will start acting. So it will last only for 3 months, 4 months, 2 months, depending on how much drug is given, which muscle it is. For example, a masseter, we give a lot of drugs, so it lasts for 6 months. Now, other than taking the line away, what can Botox do? We will do it in the next question. But here I still want to concentrate so you don't forget how Botox worked, and I will jump to filler. Filler, for example, will fill, like the name says. Fill. Now, what is filler made of? Many things. There's calcium hydroxyapatite, there is hyaluronic acid. But in India, the only approved filler is hyaluronic acid. Yes, the famous HA that you put on the skin, all of that. And that HA is what is in your eyeball. What is making fluid inside your eyeball is HA. Fluid in all your joints is HA. The substance in your skin is HA, which gives that hydration, holds the water back, is HA. So HA is a natural substance found in you, found in pig, cow, cat, dog, bacteria, so many things. And HA is one thing which does not have species specificity, which means I can pull out, clean up and put yours to him and his to me and mine to dog and dogs to pig and pigs to me and blah, blah, blah. But what we are using is what is developed on a petri dish. Yeah. So that is pulled out, preloaded in a syringe and given to us. Various companies make it. Each one has their comfort. There are various cross-linking which holds the HA together, which gives different properties to the HA, whether long chain, short chain, how is it combined, how many long chain, how much of short chain, how much of protein is used to bind them, combine them, hold them. Depending on that, it can be more robust, thinner, flowing, sitting, making structure. Then I as a doctor will choose what I want to do with that filler on your face. Therefore, I will pick the kind of filler I want. Like I don't want a very hard filler on the lips, for example. I don't want a very thick filler when I do an under eye job. So like that, I will think and I will choose.
Plus, the patient's skin quality and needs also dictate.
Big time. So all of this we multiplied into this, and we arrive at what I want to choose. Then I simply, let's say, inject. Now we are only talking lines. What else can be done with filler? We will again talk later. We are only talking wrinkles. So then there are lines which are like etched in, like your laugh line, we said. Like your tear trough line going here. Like your marinate line, which is the line going here. All of these lines is also because of muscle action, also because shift of fat underneath it. Whether from fat underneath it dissolves, but fat from elsewhere overhangs. So there is a fold that happens as you grow older. Like that, fold happens. So these cause those lines which are sitting, no matter even if you do expression or you don't do expression. Such lines, I'm only filling from underneath and lifting that line up. That is where I use a filler. It will lift, give some hydration, give some biomodulation. It will stimulate your own collagen to behave better. We have put water there. Hyaluronic acid holds a lot of water, so it hydrates you. Plus, it is a substance which is sitting also there. It's an inert substance sitting there, so it's giving you volume also. This is how a static wrinkle or line or fold is worked on.
It's like if the wrinkle or your skin is the roof of a building, these are the pillars. This can hold it up. And inject it with...
Tent pole. Tent pole.
I wanted to say it's like a bra for your skin. Something like that. Isn't it that?
Yeah, true.
It'll just give like support.
True.
Plus, because it's hyaluronic acid,
Hydrates.
It'll give that look, that dewy look.
Plus, dewy look may not happen with, if I'm trying to now replace SOOF, which is suborbicularis oculi fat, which is a fat that actually is a deep cheek, with the deep cheek fat, will reduce as you age. So face, the fat is in usually two loose layers, let's say. One is the superficial fat and the deep fat. In general, deep fat regresses as you age, becomes less. Superficial fat becomes excess and flows down as you age. So that is another thing that causes your folds, your heavy hanging cheek here. All that happens with the fat shifts.
Yeah.
The upper fellow comes down, the inner fellow regresses. So like you said, there is no support. That is when I need to also use fillers to give support. So to give that support, I'm injecting deep. At that time, it is not giving me hydration and dewy skin if I'm doing that. For the dewy skin's sake, I have a thinner filler, maybe a non-cross-linked filler. There is a filler with HAs which are bought together with heat technology, filler with the protein peptide which is available, various other kinds which are available, which are also biostimulating, where I will inject just under the skin. That then gives me to play with this property of hydration and biostimulation. But when I'm using a slightly different filler, I am looking at its property to hold steady and give me support and lift. So that's why I said that is various other areas where we are using filler.
On a very, very surface and cosmetic level, a filler is basically, again, slightly causing hydration, may cause hydration, one of the fillers, but it's mainly kind of just holding the skin out.
Sitting underneath wherever I've put it and pushing it out.
And Botox, on the other hand, is just...
easing it.
Yeah. Paralyzing? You won't say paralyzing.
Not at all. Like I said, it is not killing the nerve, no.
So it's just making the muscle relaxed.
Relaxed.
And so both basically end up and making you look younger.
Yeah.
That's the
What
bottom
is
line.
a youthful face? A relaxed face, because you guys haven't gone through the troubles of life. So it is, now please, all of you youth, don't say we have our own troubles. My daughter will jump at it now. But my whole point
Wait
is...
for the next 20
Yeah.
years. See
Exactly.
more.
See the real trouble.
See more shit.
Yeah. See the real trouble.
Lots more shit will happen.
So what is it? A youthful skin is skin which hasn't seen so much trouble. Not so many times the eye has, let's say, frowned or whatever. So it's not etched there. So it looks more relaxed, more hydrated, more dewy. Like we explained in that earlier slide, more plumpy, more softer.
You know, as I'm doing these medical podcasts, I'm trying to understand, okay, meko kya janne ki zarurat hai as a consumer? As in, what do I actually need to know? I've realized that Botox as well as fillers, they are very, very niche topics. And as a consumer, it's not my job to know what I actually need. I should go to a good
A doctor
dermatologist.
should tell you.
Fair?
Of course, there are a lot of people who will come and say, but you know what? You do this here. Luckily, I'm at a stage where if I can call so, I'm like a dictator in my clinic. Whoever you are, I don't give in, because please understand that's not out of arrogance. I know it better than you, right?
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So listen to me. I will plan your face. Of course, I'm asking you what is your need and how do you want to look and what do you want to feel or whatever. What is your job? What do you want to go back home to? What's your life like? Having said that, once we finish the analysis, I decide where I put and what I put. There is so much internet gyan that people really come to doctors and they say, you put here, you put 1 ml here, or I want filler, or I want Botox. Let the doctor decide genuinely. Because when you push these things, again, I don't know how many comments I'll get at the end of it saying differently, but this is not, again, arrogance. This is out of experience, I'm telling you. I am at a stage where I can tell people, no, I won't do this, or I will do this, and they will do this. They see the sense in it, and I also know how to explain to them. But a new doctor, sometimes, especially if a celebrity goes in and tells them, you get intimidated, isn't it? And you end up doing what they tell you to do, which shouldn't be the case, but that happens at times. Then your face will look bad. Then don't crib, oh, this didn't work or doctor didn't work. You are bulldozing. So stop doing that.
The sad thing is that as an experienced doctor, you have a need to explain this.
Yeah.
This should just be societal understanding that if
Yeah.
you're going to a doctor, you have to trust them.
Yeah.
Can you direct the doctor about surgery? This is surgery what you're doing.
Your work has to be before you reach the doctor's office. Your work should be not what I should do on the face, who should I get it done from? There you put your research, you put your brain, you talk to people, get your inputs done. Once you reach, that means you've trusted, you've reached her. Allow her to do her work.
If you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out these curated playlists that we've made especially for you related to the subject that was spoken about in this clip.